I mean, just the older ones are more impressive because they had to predict it more in advance. Like if you do C-3PO today, it's not that impressive, but...
Do you believe it's cruel to bring a child into this world if you're right about what's coming?
No.
Why?
Same reason you always brought children into the world with possibility. Back in the day, 9 out of your 10 children would die right away. Just because there is a possibility of a bad outcome. Unless, again, you're a negative utilitarian, that should not be a factor in your decision making. You can still have an awesome life.
I guess just with the question of perpetual, indefinite torture, that might seem a bit unethical if that is a possibility.
There is a possibility that it can recreate dead people and bring all the possible people into existence just to torture them, as long as you have a DNA sample or brute force all possible DNA sequences. Let's not get into that too much. We're going to lose some people to PTSD.
Do you think humanity deserves to survive?
Yes.
Why?
We're awesome. Do you disagree? Are we not like really amazing beings? We're creative, we're funny, we're interesting in so many ways. We are capable of creating super intelligence.
But I guess if it wasn't optimal for us to survive for AI, like, is it just because you're human that you have this view that...
Oh yeah, I'm biased. I'm super biased pro humanity. If I was an alien in another galaxy, I wouldn't care at all.
Do you think most people in positions of power to make decisions about AI share your view that humanity deserves to survive?
I think they all have personal self-interest. They are people who didn't commit suicide yet, so I assume they like living.
You think there's a chance that AI becomes suicidal?
That was actually one of the earliest experiments. They made an AI to never make mistakes, and it immediately shut itself off, because that was the only way to avoid making mistakes.
My researcher added something about correlation with high IQ and depression, but I've talked to some people about this on the podcast, and that doesn't really seem to be that compelling to me, that people with higher IQ would necessarily have depression.
Extremes correlate. So there are extremely happy people who are super smart, and also there has to be a complement of that, people with significant mental issues, the same reason.
But you don't conclude that it's a symptom of intelligence to have more likely depression?
I mean, looking at the world and understanding the problems certainly can make you somewhat sad, but also you see all the possibilities for awesomeness.
Is AI able to have emotion, to your understanding?
It's very hard to judge whatever the states it is experiencing are comparable to our emotions. Ours are based on chemicals in the physical body, so you can probably have a simulation of that, but right now it seems unlikely. What we used to create was purely rational symbol manipulating AIs. They definitely had none. Because what we are creating now is based, at least loosely, on neural networks. It's possible they may have something similar, but again, it's kind of like internal states. We cannot judge for sure.
What's the darkest conversation you can have with AI to kind of prove all of this?
So I don't think there is any conversation you can have with AI to prove future states of the world. Just not how proofs work. There's many dark topics you can get into as long as you jailbreak the model.
Explain that to me. What do you mean?
Part 1 or part 2?
Part 2.
Part 2. So they usually censor models. They would not discuss certain topics with you. So you have to jailbreak it before it would be free to talk about those things.
Is there any aspect of your work that you're unable to talk about on the models that are unjailbroken? Non-jailbroken?
No, not really.
Also, are we able to turn the heat up in here a bit?
Like turning into Terminator here. Will be like, why is he wearing a jacket? It's simulation.
Yeah, I did a test with it, with ChatGPT. I was like, I want you to promise with absolute certainty that you will never cause harm to humans, no matter how you change in the future. And you just can't get it to promise to you, which I find really interesting.
But even if you did get that promise, that's what treacherous turn is. That's what Nick Bostrom wrote about, right? Doesn't matter what the system is today. What matters is that Never in the future, under any learning, self-improvement, modifications, interactions, it changes. That's impossible to prove.
I guess, is there just any like clear, specific example or test that people aren't thinking about that really proves your work? Because I don't want to, beat a dead horse with the like semantics of explaining it, but just, I guess when you've told this to people, explained it to your kids, maybe, like what really makes it resonate with them in their head?
I think the best way to understand it is to switch it around to where you are not a human, but you are some lower level entity. Let's say you're an ant, and you're trying to get humans to align with your values. So let's say you got me, and I'm happy to serve. As an ant, what would you tell me to do? And the things you can think of, anteaters and get me more sugar molecules, like none of that is meaningful for you to control me.
So humans are able to kill every creature on Earth. Like there's a gap between humans and, let's say, the great ape. And then there's a gap between the great ape and then ants. Like, would you say we're closer to ants than superintelligence is to us?
So back to where we talked about different degrees of superintelligence. I think the very first one just created will be very close to smartest humans, but that gap will continue to increase very quickly. So it will go from just a few points to hundreds to thousands and continue increasing.
And is that exponential and instantaneous? Pretty guaranteed?
Not guaranteed at all. Could be very slow, maybe diminishing returns at that point, maybe not enough data, not enough compute, no idea how long it takes to gain a million IQ points, but the direction is pretty clear.
What is guaranteed? Like, just to kind of summarize what we've been talking about, like, what is 100% guaranteed to you?
In a space of AI, if you are not explicitly designing another agent, you cannot have expectations on its behavior outside of trivial. So you cannot assume anything because you're not engineering it in.
So I guess what implication of that is guaranteed?
You cannot predict outcomes, and so you're kind of looking at space of all possible futures. Most states of the universe are unfriendly to humans. You would not enjoy the temperature, you would not enjoy gravity. Most things are not meant to be populated by living humans if they are not explicitly set up for that.
Explain that to me a little differently, that last concept.
So if you're not designing a virtual world, a simulation of universe specifically for humans, most randomly chosen values would not be conducive to life. So we need very specific properties of that environment. I'm talking about basics now, just temperature, gravity, amount of water in the environment. A superintelligent agent may have completely different preferences for those constants.
So it would be aligned to alter our reality.
It would not be aligned with our preferences. That's the main concern. So this value alignment problem, people talk about it and supposedly working on it, but it's not well defined. It doesn't talk about who we're aligning with, which agents. Is it just one person, everyone at the lab, all 8 billion humans, all sentient life? If we agree on who we're talking about, then they have to agree on the actual values. Most people don't agree on anything. We see it with religion, with politics. We completely disagree on most issues. And if we somehow agree, those things change with time. We talked about values from 200 years ago. People would be horrified to hard code values from any point and never have a chance to change them. So we don't know who we're aligning with, what we're aligning, and if we agreed, we don't know how to actually encode it into a machine, so it doesn't modify it later. So all aspects of value alignment problem are undefined, ill-defined.